So, let us start.
The Name of the Rose.
By
Umberto Eco? Is that how you say his name? I think it's Umberto Eco. That's what I've been saying. Umberto Eco. I thought, do you know what I thought for some weird reason that this was written like hundreds of years ago or some manuscript that they uncovered?
Is it not?
Probably he was written in 1980.
Did I know that or didn't I know?
It was literally written in 1980. But his name, Umberto Eco, that does not sound like a 1980 name, so...
You sure it's written in 1980?
That's what it says on Google.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
thought it was some manuscript they dug out from underneath the Colosseum or whatever, I don't know.
Well, he done a good job then. It seems like it's old.
Yeah, no.
It seems like it's
Legit.
old.
Yeah, no,
1980,
100%.
that's
Very
only
good job.
yesterday.
Bro, this guy was speaking Latin in 1980? Fairs.
Do you think he learned that for the book? Or you already knew
Way
that?
too much. I hope you already know it.
Exactly.
For his sake.
And this is like from a lot of the points
For
I've
the
said. But yeah.
sake of for his social life, I hope you already
My first point is I can tell this writer is a bit of a wordsmith. He said, perhaps my misplaced sense of fidelity to the original source. You know, he was just going in immediately.
Flexing.
I mean, we actually didn't speak about it. We kind of spoke about it a little bit, and he was
Touched on it, yeah.
He was like, what is this, V for Vendetta?
Yeah.
You know, which is...
That...
This is worse.
But it was way worse. That was one scene. That was one scene. It was worse because he only used V words, but it was one scene. So, you know, like, this guy did it for the whole runtime of the book. Yeah, my first point is very similar. I said, I see what you mean, because Elijah started reading this book before me. He said it's difficult to get into. I said, I see what you mean about this book being difficult to get into. It's literally one page in. This guy is a top waffler. Champions League level waffler. I said he writes like he's got a minimum word count to reach.
For every sentence.
Bro, he's supposed to be dying while he's writing. You ain't got time for this.
Is he?
He literally remember when the beginning where he was like, yes, as my old age comes to claim me. I was like, I'm dying. You're right like this.
Get it out.
You better hurry up. Yeah, get to the end of your sentence. Bear in mind, this guy was writing with a quill pen and ink. His hand must have cramped up how many times?
I said, I can tell this book is going to quench my thirst for pointless philosophical waffle. This book is so complicated.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
what he's doing.
Listen, the book is so complicated, or maybe I'm too simple, but I'm struggling to understand exactly what is going on. There's monks, and there's William, and there's somebody who's amazing at the powers of deduction, and now there's a murder mystery. If a monk did in fact kill another monk, it can only be for one reason, because they were being blackmailed. Or not necessarily blackmailed, but the one who was murdered definitely had some dirt on the murderer. That's the only reason why monks could.
That does make sense, to be fair. I was wondering, I was thinking this is gonna have to be one hell of a motive, because like monks killing monks is like, that's like one top 10 things that never happens. Like monks murdering other monks, like monks murdering at all, obviously it's genuinely a no-no, but monks murdering other monks, for what reason could it possibly be? But I think it would be a good idea if there was some kind of reference section, maybe at the bottom of the page, to translate the bits in Latin for the benefit of the reader. Because the book was probably... It was already confusing enough.
Not only was it confusing enough and long enough, but I just assumed it was pointless. Like,
that's why I wrote it off. Like I said, I wrote it off.
I completely wrote it. I didn't even I did not even try and make any effort or thought to try and think about what it was saying.
I said, I assume he said something Christian. I assume. Said something about Jesus, perhaps. Whatever he said. But what option did we have? Like, I didn't have enough time to read this book anyway. I was not going to Google translate, copy and paste bits into...
It's a nice addition to the story that only the librarian has access to the unrestricted library. Because as monks, they need to exercise self-restraint, and in short, it's possible for monks to get distracted from doing the Lord's work by a lustful passion to consume literature. It's quite philosophical. Man is riddled with addiction. You take away sex, you take away alcohol, TV, fatty carbs, and escapism via books will be the next thing on the list for man to tether himself to.
Literally.
Which is crazy.
Instead of God.
Well, yeah. So we are just... we're just riddled with addiction. We have to... I don't know what it is. You know, you take away all the other addictions and we just find something else.
I think the base nature of humans is doing what we find pleasure in. Finding it. Find something pleasure in. Some worldly pleasure.
Obviously, the number one purpose is to survive. And there's that driving force. That drives us that survival instinct drives us to things that we find pleasurable. And
I think the number one instinct is to live. The number two instinct is to live with yourself.
what do you mean?
Like, it's not enough to just survive. You also have to live a life that you find acceptable to live. Like, obviously, people that, let's say, have ALS, for example, can't move, can't do anything. Most of us wouldn't consider that a life.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Course.
Obviously, most of us consider that too big of a price.
Yeah. Life in and of itself isn't that amazing.
Literally.
You gotta live.
You literally have to live. There you go. My point is William and our protagonist. Honestly, I did not know his name by this point. I just called him our protagonist for a lot of the book, or the monk, or whatever.
It's Atul, isn't it?
It's I thought it was Asdo or Adzo or something. Atso. Is it Atso? Whatever it was. Anyway, I put William and Atso. He's supposed to be Moses and the Wise Man, or Sherlock and John Watson. I find either dynamic to be applicable with how William explains that his apparent powers of deduction come down to a certain amount of wisdom and a degree of keen observance, like the beginning bit with a horse or whatever.
It's not keen observance.
It's
superhuman.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you know how Sherlock does it. Ridiculous.
But we do know that in terms of stories, you have to have two people so that this plot can be explained.
Literally,
blah, blah, blah. You can't. I mean, you can, but
basically, the Atzo was us, and William was just William. And it was basically explained to us using Atzo as a vessel, explained to us. But yeah, very much like Sherlock and John Watson, or Moses and the Wise Man.
Yeah. This book is not afraid to define words and ideas. Beauty was defined as a combination of four things: completion, all incomplete things are ugly; symmetry, and clarity, lighting, and peace. Hence why it's always psychopaths that find chaos beautiful. So the point I'm trying to make is, I mean, it's a book on philosophy, so they're not scared to define words, because a lot of times in books that we've read, I've always said, this person will say, oh, I love them, and this, that, and the other. I can't remember what book it was, but I basically said, writers are scared to define words that we use every day, like love, for example. No one knows what that means. It means something different to everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I put a few chapters in, and the Knights Templar was mentioned once, which is the ancient order of monk knights sworn to defend Christianity and the Pope. While this book is definitely interesting in terms of the philosophical ideas it touches upon, they would make way better main characters for the story. The Knights Templar. I would much rather read a book about the Knights Templar from a perspective of being entertained, if nothing else, than this brother and his friend walking around solving murders or whatever they was doing. And it took so long for them to actually start solving any murders as well, because this guy was explaining what churches look like and stuff. It took so long to get into the actual plot of the story.
In chapter 8, one of the monks said that the purpose of learning is to preserve one's life. If that's true, why does Percy need to go to college?
I knew he was going to do this.
How could you possibly know?
I knew he was going to do this. I knew he was going to do this because you didn't let it go. Like a dog chasing cars. Literally, you don't know what to do with it when you catch it.
For those who ain't watched the other video, we read Percy Jackson. And Percy Jackson is a demigod with superhuman power. He's basically Superman, but he wants to go to college, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Superman, not to get too much into this because we have actual to discuss. Interesting you mentioned Superman. This nigga wants a job at a news reporter. That's his dream.
Yeah, because he needs to pay his rent.
You see what I'm saying? He was a farmer in Superman. Yeah, they all knew this.
Yeah, but
bro, he was a farmer. Like, come on, like Bruce Wayne runs a company.
Delivers pizzas.
You see what I'm saying? He delivered. Come on. I wasn't even talking about taking pictures of Spider-Man because that's actually a money hack. That's an infinite money hack that he has going on, which is actually good. This nigga delivered pizzas and he got fired. Spider-Man got fired. The author really gets us inside the church, or he tries to, when describing it, sparing no experts to recreate the intricacy of the artist's brush. The description of the abbey lasted at least 3 or 4 pages. At least. I'm talking top to bottom, A4, both sides. Literally single-spaced, everything. At least 3 to 4 pages of him just describing that. I forgot what it was in the abbey for.
I want to know who edited the book. That's what I want to know.
Why do they think? Did they cut it down? Do you think they cut it down? What did it look like before?
Exactly. Because that's what I'm trying to say. Like, they cut it down to that.
Ridiculous. I would have been like, it's a church with some seats in it.
I think we should drink every time they say diabolical. In the beginning of the book, everything was diabolical.
You should drink every time they speak in Latin. Every time they speak in Latin. That's a good drinking game. Yeah, go on.
I don't know why. In chapter 9, they're trying to ruin this book. The monk mentioned that if you burn dog's wax, then you hallucinated two-headed dogs, snake's venom, and you hallucinate snakes. You know, he was talking about someone's burning this in the library late at night, and it's making people hallucinate things. But why wouldn't they just say, oh, if you burn this, you hallucinate? Why are they trying to say, oh, if you burn snake's venom, you hallucinate snake's venom? I mean, two-headed snakes and stuff like that. I mean, how could that be possible?
How could they legislate for that? Like knowing what exactly hallucination.
No, but when you hallucinate, from my understanding, things can make you hallucinate anything. But why would snake venom make you hallucinate about snakes?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
That definitely didn't make any sense. And it was a very unnecessary. But this is an example of wasting words, which I 100% feel like wordiness doesn't necessarily mean you're wasting words, but this definitely is, because it's like, like you said, you could just put hallucinations.
Yeah, you could just. It makes you. Even if you were to say, if you burn snake's venom, it makes you hallucinate. You know, it's not gonna. Why would it make you hallucinate about snakes? You should have edited the book. that just didn't make any sense to me. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why would you feel the need to do that?
It definitely doesn't make any sense. I put, maybe it's because I don't pay enough attention, but I don't have a clue what this Donnie's name is. I don't have a clue what our main character's name is. I call him the monk. I call him our protagonist, whatever. Because it rates in first person. You don't have to think about it a lot, to be fair. Because he's saying I this, I that. You honestly don't have to think about what his name is, which is good. But this book reads like a documentary rather than a novel or a storybook. Lots of names, lots of dates. It's like horrible histories if its vocabulary was on crack. That's basically what it is.
It's taken me 10 chapters to work out that this book isn't a book about a murder mystery. It's a book about the life as a monk in a monastery. It's kind of confusing because I always thought that philosophy is like the opposite of religion and faith, right? But every minute of the first section of the book, you know, they go into so much detail about what monks do. You know, they got their lunch, they go and do their God's work or whatever. But it was just, I mean, we've said it already that it's extremely verbose.
Yeah, no.
And it goes into so much things. The book could be cut in half. I don't think that the length adds to it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Have a little bit of the wordsmith in there. I enjoy that, but it's just too much.
I think if they had done the reverse, if they had done the opposite and made it a murder mystery book with some philosophical stuff thrown in there, that would have hit a lot harder. It would have been a way better. Because it was got like the main storyline, which you would actually be involved in. So what's
your point? Well, I'm saying that it's a book about philosophy with a murder mystery stuck on the end.
Yeah, that's what we actually read. I think if they switched it around, that would have been better. Murder mystery with some philosophy stuck in.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know. I think I liked it, but I just think it was unnecessarily long.
Yeah, but it could be improved. I liked it too, but I think it could be improved if they had switched it around and just sprinkled the philosophy into a murder mystery novel, because now you're attracting murder mystery lovers and you're attracting philosophy lovers at the same time. Whereas this book would not attract murder mystery lovers. I don't think it would anyways.
Well, yeah, because it's not
murder mystery, is it? It's just got a murder in there. It's got
murders in there, yeah. I mean, it is still murder mystery, but it's just, if you want to read a murder mystery, don't read this.
Don't read this.
Go read a proper murder
Go read Agatha Christie, bro. Sherlock Holmes. There was a quote that stuck with me, and I learned out why, because I put it in a later point, but I literally just wrote it down. The beauty of the cosmos derives not only from unity in variety, but from variety in unity. And I was literally just like, I don't know why that quote stuck with me, but it seems so genius at the time. Do you understand it? I understand what I think it means.
Oh, so you got to read it again. Read it again for me.
The beauty of the cosmos derives not only from unity in variety, but from variety in unity.
That doesn't make sense.
That's what William said.
Yeah, but that's what William said. No, I've heard it now for the second time, and it doesn't.
What do you think?
It doesn't make sense. Is unity not symmetry?
Unity is oneness. So symmetry is one way to explain it, but it's more oneness. So
you can't really have variety in unity unless we're talking about, unless you say unity is. I thought unity is the same things coming together as one? Or could it just be one thing that's made up of different parts, like a jigsaw puzzle?
Maybe. I don't know. See, now we're getting to the philosophical stuff we were talking about earlier. This is some of the stuff that is sprinkled into the book. But that's the good thing about philosophy. It's not really about teaching anyone anything. It's about making you ask questions about stuff. Teaching you how to ask intelligent or deep questions is pretty much what it is. Or at least that's how I understand it. But there's a point later on where I use the quote again, and I feel like it makes perfect sense. I don't think you'll be able to disagree with me.
Are we going to wait for it?
Yeah.
Cool. I don't believe that it's possible to grasp this book in its entirety. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Maybe I'm still drunk or something. I just can't read. I don't believe that it's possible to grasp this book in its entirety through one reading. I'm struggling to grasp it. There are many characters and many things going on at the same time. One thing you can take away is that if you can agree that monks are the holiest humans. Okay, I see what I've said. One thing to take away is that if you can agree that monks are the holiest humans, we are all doomed. Now I understand that this is a fictional story and the monks are not killing each other now I understand that this is a fictional story and monks aren't killing each other in monasteries in real life. But I'm convinced that they are definitely breaking rules left, right and centre. Whether that's taking illegal substances, breaking into prohibited areas, or doing unethical favours for banned scriptures. So the point I'm trying to make is they're supposed to be these holy guys, that they have self-restraint and whatnot. So we're screwed because, they're breaking rules left, right and centre in there.
100%.
As I said, the scriptures,
100%.
they're doing favours. These lot are having sex with each other.
Yeah, no, 100%.
They were doing all manners of things.
Each other, bringing in brothels from the main character.
The prostitute.
Listen. And the funniest thing is...
bringing prostitutes in the house.
Do you understand what I'm saying? To the monastery... Nah, come on. Bro, you're a monk. You're literally a monk. So,
we ain't got no hope.
This is one of the big issues that a lot of agnostic or atheistic people have with religion, though. It's like the piety of it. The way a lot of religious people, especially these monks, like act, the way they talk, the way they pretend, like the holier than thou attitude. And they're doing the same things.
Yeah, but they're trying. That's better than someone
that means something to me. It's not going to mean something to... It's not nothing.
It's not nothing.
That's a catchphrase. It's a t-shirt. It's not nothing.
They're trying. But it shows the impossibility of humans being good.
Impracticality of trying to be good.
Good,
yeah. It means
virtuous.
Something to me. It means something to virtuous. It means something to me that people are trying. At least you're trying, innit? Because if you're shamelessly
yeah, but we're not trying.
Sitting, if you're shamelessly sitting, well, we're not the monks. We're not trying as hard as they are. We're not trying that hard. Yeah, we're not trying that hard. Like the monks, in terms of, I don't know if these monks shave their head or did they shave their heads?
I don't even know why they do that. Why do they do that?
I don't know.
Unity.
Yes.
That's variety into it.
I like the parts where our protagonist was speaking about things we may see in the future. He was saying, self-propelling wagons and ships faster than any on a favourable wind and flying machines. It's interesting when our protagonist asks where these machines are. William claims they are already built. I do not know what he meant by that. Maybe he meant the ideas is already there, or I don't know what he meant by that. They're already built, because they definitely wasn't in 1322 or whatever. That flying machines weren't built, but there are apparently, I don't know how true this is, but apparently there are architectural phenomena on Earth that we can't explain, like Stonehenge, for example. Apparently nobody knows where Stonehenge was built.
Yeah.
Or like the pyramids. There are some people that say
East
the pyramids...
Islands.
Things like that. Yeah. Apparently there's some people that say the pyramids, no one knows where they came from. Other people say they've been documented where a lot of the pyramids came from. But Stonehenge...
What do you mean where they came from?
Like who built
how they built them.
And how they built them.
It's documented.
Yeah.
But they don't know how they built them.
Yeah, they said it doesn't make any sense how they're standing or whatever.
Yeah, they don't know. So not just that. It's not just that, right? I mean, I went to Egypt, remember? I went to the pyramids. Just had to drop that in there.
Yeah, of course.
But the stones, some of the stones weigh more than a ton.
And they shouldn't have had the technology to move them.
They don't know how they moved. A ton of stone up hundreds of feet. They have no idea. They have no idea how it's done. They have no idea. They don't know what is... They don't know what they've used to keep them up, like cement or whatever. Something actually is not more amazing, but interesting. Did you know that the cement that we use today is not the cement that we used 500 years ago?
So where's it come
So
from?
basically, what happened is somebody lost the recipe. So the cement that we use is not as good as the cement we used.
Okay. So
I think it's I don't even know if it's thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. So the cement used previously, it gets stronger over time. It's more binding. Ours gets weaker with time.
Right.
So as I said, I don't know what happened, the fire or whatever, and they lost it, and then someone had to reinvent it, and they couldn't make it the same way they did. They lost the recipe, which is interesting, and that's semi-recent history.
Nothing really you could do in that situation, did it? So if the recipe's lost, it's lost.
Yeah, it's gone.
Really, you can do. It's gone now.
So many amazing quotes are dropped into the book like it's nothing, when we could discuss the whole topic on them. For example, daytime sleep is like the sin of the flesh. The more you have, the more you want, and yet you feel unhappy, sated and unsated at the same time. And I had to Google what the acts of the flesh are, because I've never heard of that term. But for those who don't know, acts of flesh are obvious. Sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery,
hedonism or whatever.
Yeah, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, self-ambition.
Yeah, listen, do you know what the funniest thing is? Like I said, self-ambition is like why are you focusing on your personal goals instead of God? You should be focusing on God. You should be praying all night, focusing on God. That's genuinely what they believe. Like even William said, what did he say? No, it was Atso who was like, I was the one that found the thing. They said, God protect me from all pride and vanity. I was the one that found that. He even had to get that in there. He was like, I'm not bragging.
It's funny because just in the last page of the book, it basically Atso said that he learned of William's death, because it was the last time he learned of William's death, and he said, I forgave him in his death. I forgave him for his prideful deductions and this, that, and the other. So and also there's another term. This is a slight change of topic. It's another term that I like that was in the book, and they said, "Oh, I sinned without malice. Forgive me." I just like that. I'm gonna start implementing that. I sinned without malice. I agree, but I didn't mean it, basically.
I put this note was probably, I think, the first one I read after, because a lot of the book I read the physical book and then I changed to the audiobook. I think this is the first note I read after I started reading.
You can't even make up your mind. Start reading, middle is the audiobook, then do the film.
Oh yeah, we've got the TV miniseries as well. I put the voices do add depth, and it's weird because you don't always understand what's being said, especially when they start speaking other languages, like when Salvatore.
When you're reading it,
that's true, but it's like I don't even mean the other languages. That's why I mean, like in English, when they read some in English, you don't always know what they're saying. If you read it, you will have a better grasp on like what's being said in the sentence sometimes than if you've heard it.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you know?
100%.
No.
100%.
How could that be possible?
I mean, listen. If you go back and listen, because like when they're waffling for like 3 or 4 paragraphs at a time, sometimes you zone out, innit?
Yeah,
if you're reading, you have a better grasp on what's actually being said.
I think when you're reading, you're less likely to zone out.
Yeah.
Can you zone out when you're reading?
Yeah,
so you can as well.
But you're definitely less likely to. Because if let's say you're listening to an audiobook, like I was listening to
you're doing whatever you're doing.
I was on my way to work one time and like, bro, you gotta have your wits about you.
Yeah, of course.
When you're out on the street, bro, you could zone out for like 5-10 minutes at a time and just be like, I don't know where I am. You just jump back into the book, don't know where I am. But that's the funny thing, even if you was paying attention, you might still don't know where you are. Because it's flipping book.
Because the book, you just go to the top of the page, who's speaking right now, or whatever.
That's it. Like when he was Salvatore Stupidos. When saying things like you get a little entertainment from the voices in it.
Yeah, no, there was some humorous parts in the book. I can't remember any off the top of my head, unfortunately. But there was definitely. Oh, even I don't know if I'm gonna ruin one of my things, but there was a time where the abbot was talking to William, and basically the abbot was like, "Oh, pleasure's not good, laughter's not good." And then even William was like, but you're making fun of the people who like pleasure. You're actually doing the same thing.
Yeah, just finding humor, finding entertainment in different ways.
The pleasure of disputation. Oh, the pleasure of this is it.
Oh, that's the one you're talking about.
So this is what happens. Remember what I said, right? You take away sex, you take away TV, take away books. What do the humans like? What do they want to get addicted to next? The pleasure of disputation. So they just they disagree and they debate and whatnot. And debate's all good. You know, you could kill hours debating.
Oh, definitely.
You know, but I put the pleasure of disputation. These monks have proven that it's impossible to not seek pleasure. We humans unknowingly, automatically seek pleasure, even when all pleasurable temptations are removed. The monks find themselves debating over the scripture for pleasure. And one of the monks caught himself doing so. So they were like, "Oh, this is, you know, it's pleasurable to debate the scripture," you know. And he's like, so
like Puritans.
It says, chapter 17, 5 minutes. Get Joseph to listen to the audiobook. The voice actor is amazing.
Oh, is that what you wrote?
Yeah. So chapter 17, 5 minutes in. Let me try and do this very, very quickly. You find your next point. If I can play. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted. Copyright ban.
What, demonetized, bro.
Chapter 17.
Shadow banned.
5 minutes in.
But I never set foot in the library. The labyrinth. The library is a labyrinth. Unco mundum typise labyrinthos denotatile. The old man recited absently. Intranti largus rediontis et nimis artus. The library is a great labyrinth, sign of the labyrinth of the world. You enter and you do not know whether you will come out. You must not.
It's not Davros, is it? Who's Davros from Doctor Who?
Davros, the Dalek guy.
Yeah, the voice. This is Darth Sidious.
Okay,
it's not the same, but it sounds. How do you get that voice?
I honestly don't know. I was even honestly, you've got to eat broken glass for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like,
and then 50 a day, obviously. You got to smoke 50 a day as well.
Yeah,
cigars. Not
cigars. Of course, 100% Cubans, bro. Only Cubans. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And then you got to do whiskey on the rocks, probably since he was about
permanent
4.
damage. Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. You could never have drank water a day in your life, literally.
That's probably a voice from screaming at your wife. All day screaming.
Man said if you can find something to scream at your wife about, that'll help. Get you there faster. It's ridiculous. I don't know how anyone can sound like that.
Do you have to be old to have that voice?
You have to just woken up after smoking. After smoking 50.
Yeah.
Nah, that's ridiculous. There's no way. I put, for all that religion and mathematics/sciences are considered by many to be polar opposites, they are quite closely involved in one another. There's a bit where our protagonist talks about religious buildings being designed according to precise mathematical specifications. He was like, what do you say, the 10 commandments multiplied by 4? Like, I was like,
I stopped listening.
Bro, I was like, you're moving too mad now.
Yeah.
Churches shaped as cruciforms, which are like buildings built to resemble a cross. Like, apparently loads of churches were built to resemble a cross just because of the cross of Jesus Christ or whatever. It's just like geometry, mathematics. Like, it's so important to these religious people, even though they're opposites.
Yeah. I genuinely believe that the author is trying to confuse us. I've been confused right the way through this book, and I'm treating it like I'm reading the Bible. Understand what you understand and ignore the rest. And then start a war. I definitely need to clear a misconception up. For some reason, people believe that religion starts wars. And it's a misconception. It's not so religion does people do war over religion. That's not
it's not up for debate.
Yeah, it's not for debate.
Fact.
But people, especially agnostic and atheists, they think they disregard religion. They say, oh, it just starts wars. And the facts of the matter is, in the last 120 years, over 100 million people have been killed through wars. None of which has been religion. Like, literally, World War.
Bro, there was 100-year-long wars over religious people, and few people died in those wars in World War II, which wasn't about religion at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
And so, for example, I think Stalin killed... Hitler killed 20 million people from his war. That's World War.
Yeah.
Stalin killed... I think maybe it's about 40 million.
I know Stalin, his war crimes, like Hitler's war crimes pale in comparison to Stalin's war crimes.
And then Mao in China killed ridiculous amount. And we're talking like 70 million of his own people.
Ridiculous. You know, Genghis Khan, people like Genghis Khan, amount of people just got killed. Exactly. There's like people who still have his DNA today.
Well, yeah, no, apparently 1 in 3 people have... I think it's Genghis Khan. He impregnated
every claptop. Everyone from
wherever
he started.
Apparently, I want to read a book about Genghis Khan, but because we do this, I don't have any time to do any other reading. I'm just reading storybooks. I like to read, books on how to make money and this, that, and the other one. But I want to read a book about Genghis Khan. But I read a little story, and basically, someone said they just went through a city that Genghis Khan sacked, and they had built a pyramid of heads They are pyramid high. When I say they said it built it up high, he just cut off everyone's head. It's done. Man said go through because they have women.
Why?
They have women. We don't need the men no more.
Women are commodity.
He said they had built the heads up high. You know, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Well, war, I mean,
crazy.
you know, we had a little discussion about war and whatnot, and, you know, atrocities, that's just what happens.
That is literally what happens.
That's
Not
what happens.
so you should write it off, but it's what happens in war, and you should know that going into the war.
And you should have defended yourself.
You literally should have won. Now it's happening to your people.
You
It could have been
should've
happening to their people.
won. Yeah,
What's
you
happening to
should've
yours
won.
now?
You should've won.
Literally, George Patton, who was a very famous general, he said the
the-
object of war is not to die for your country, it's to make the
sure
other
they
guy
do.
dies for
Yeah,
his.
yeah. And the reason why you are there, or where you are in the first place, is because your ancestors won a war.
Yeah, no.
The reason why you're fighting right now is because you were the victors.
Literally,
Otherwise,
don't
you'd be
break the
dead.
streak. Don't break the streak. Win again. Don't break it.
Wait, I don't think I finished.
Oh, go on.
But the reason why I said the author is trying to confuse is because in chapter 7, that conversation with the crazy blind monk, I might have been the abbot. He's the blind. The abbot's blind one, isn't he? Or was that someone else? All right, doesn't matter. I've read the whole book, still don't know what's
I
going on.
honestly don't know if he was that. I don't think he was that, but
Okay, well, the crazy blind monk, he was going on about 7-headed beasts, Antichrist committing murders in a monastery. It's not that kind of book. So the only reason why I can think of him, the right putting that in, is for us
Red
to
herring,
just confuse us.
Yeah,
Because
red herring.
this isn't a book about supernatural
yeah, and it
abilities.
never was.
And
It never
yeah.
was. And the writer went to, by the end of the book, the writer went to lengths to make sure it was nailed on into our minds that it's not that kind of book. Like, everything supernatural had some scientific explanation behind it. And the writer made sure to set that up. So, yeah, you're right. It's a red herring. Sometimes writers do that, put in red herrings to make you think the story's going one way when it's not.
I'm just got this disclaimer. I've got a long point coming on.
Okay, I've got a long one coming up as well. Your one's ridiculously long though. Yeah, nah. I was looking for the perfect word to describe how seriously the monks at the abbot take their knowledge and the guarding of their knowledge, and I realised what that word is. It's a bank. It's literally a bank. The library's a bank. It's literally, they guard their knowledge as if it were currency, and it is to them. Like, you go there
in
and
a
they
way,
say,
it is anyway.
how much do you need? What do you need it for? And if you decide you don't need it, then you don't need it. They literally said the librarian's the only one that's allowed to know where the books are.
Well, as I said, but I made a point as to why that is, and the reason why it is to stop the pursuit of knowledge from humans, because you know they will get addicted to it, and
Literally.
you're not supposed to have passion. You're supposed to be doing the Lord's work.
Yeah,
It's
literally
as
without
simple as
passion
that.
and prejudice, did it?
Yeah, so that actually made sense why the librarian, because before I didn't get it, but then I started to
It
realize.
made sense to me just because knowledge is a currency. Everyone says knowledge is power. And nobody
Yeah,
says
but that's just one of the
knowledge is
philosophical
currency.
things that people say and don't really mean. Because because look, I mean, it's true, but if it was really true, it is. Just let me land.
Yeah,
People would read more.
that's true.
And like people would spend their time acquiring knowledge.
But
in the real world,
You say that, but people don't even spend their time acquiring actual currency. People would there's poor people everywhere, and cool. Some people are poor by circumstance. There's people who are poor because they don't work. They don't want a job. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
people
no,
are just unemployed on the street.
funny story. I was working in Lidl and a homeless man came in. One of the homeless men that always come in and they buy their little whatever cheap stuff, piece of bread, whatever it was. And I was like, he's wearing a McDonald's hat because these homeless people, they always get these. They always find uniforms. I don't know. I think people donate it to give it to them, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, he came in. He's wearing a McDonald's hat, and I was like, "Oh, you got a job?" He's like, "I'd never work in McDonald's." I was like.
Bro, but that made he
I
was
was just
laughing,
like-
laughing.
Yeah, I was
Ridiculous.
like,
How switched off can you be?
I was like,
how switched
I've
off
never
can you
worked
be?
in McDonald's. Man sleeping on the
Jesus.
streets.
Yeah,
I
that was
was like,
ridiculous.
maybe-
ridiculous.
so
I
maybe
remember.
you should go and
Do
work
you know
at
what it is? It's the common perception of McDonald's is specifically obviously people will look down on fast food in general, but McDonald's specifically, I don't know what it is about McDonald's
know.
that was all told.
I don't know. I don't
Do you
know.
remember when we was in school? My sister Yvonne, she was like to me one time, if I don't pay attention in maths, she said you're gonna end up working at KFC. And when I got the job at McDonald's, I found her on Facebook, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm working at McDonald's. Like, how do you feel? Not working at KFC."
Well, you text her.
You found her on Facebook, bro.
And you
I found her
messaged
on Facebook.
her?
Yeah.
And what did she
show
say?
you? Nah, she didn't reply. But
you
of course,
still see-
she hated me, bro. She hated me.
Wait.
I don't know what it was.
I didn't know about this.
I didn't tell you about this.
Wait.
I'll tell you
wait,
after, I'll tell you after.
Wait. So you
Yeah.
messaged her. Did she
Yeah.
actually see it?
I don't know. It's Facebook, innit? I don't know.
So
But-
next time you see her, are you gonna bring it up?
What the fact that we used to work in McDonald's?
Like it's a win, you know.
Literally.
Funny story again. I drive lorries for a living, right? And I was working the first lorry job that I got. Basically, it was dustbin trucks, right? Good pay, probably the best job I ever had, right? And I'm driving dustbin truck, and you know you're doing houses and whatnot. All I do is drive. So the guys they load the bins on, right? And a woman and a child was walking past, and the child was maybe like 6, and she said to the child, "Look, if you don't do well in school, you're gonna end up like him." That's what she said, looking at
Did she
me.
even point as well?
You're gonna end up looking like him. That's what she said. I was like, what was you doing in that situation? Nothing. They weren't talking to me.
Nothing you can do anyway.
And it was good.
Short of running
Listen,
them over.
Driving a bin lorry, you're getting 40 grand. You know, it's a good job. But, you know, there's stigma to it. I mean, even the bin men are still making money.
People don't really know what a good job is until you've it's very difficult to know what a good job is unless you're informed, unless you're in the know.
Well, it's subjective anyway.
It's very subjective, and there's jobs that people don't want to do because they were told to not want to do it. Like, you just saw a little girl being told not to want to do it, for example. But these kinds of jobs, like, you know, plumbing, carpenting, things like this is where the real actual money is. Like, plumbers and carpenters make ridiculous money compared to some of the jobs you're told to want to do.
Yeah. Is it my turn or is it your turn? So I've got a long one coming up.
Yeah, do your long, because I just did mine.
Okay. This is probably my favourite part of the book. It's my favourite philosophical point. The female is the vessel of the devil. Another quote that the author just drops willy-nilly that you could write a whole chapter on, at least. If I could expand briefly. Why is the female the vessel of the devil? Because man and woman are a team. And a team is only as strong as its weakest link. A man needs to be strong in every realm, so not just physical. Mentally, he needs to be focused and have self-control. He needs to be able to sidestep distractions. So imagine, he is all of that. He sidesteps all of this. He's all of these things. And he sidesteps distractions, right? Women in this day and age are extremely entitled. They have the mentality of, if I want something, I should have it because I deserve it. She has no self-control, no self-discipline, weak both mentally, succumbs to her impulses and desires. She nags for holidays, which is a financial distraction. She nags for babies, which is a financial distraction. And expensive gifts. A woman is the vessel of the devil. Adam has to stay focused against Eve. Man has to stay focused. That money that a woman will emotionally blackmail you into squandering could be used for a business gain that will cement the financial stability of your family. Let me give you another example. Every Sunday, I get Monday phobia. I say to myself, I don't want to go into work tomorrow. And Michaela says, then don't go. Imagine I was weak. And I think about all the weak guys out there that their partners enable them to be weak. Men that succumb to their fragile wants and desires. All the men that say, you know what, you're right. I won't go to work today. Or I won't go to the gym today. I'll stay home and cuddle you. Because when you do listen, at the end of the month, when there are financial shortages, guess who you're going to be arguing with over money?
Bro, you can't pay in cuddles.
Don't listen to them devils, King. This book is proven to be timeless.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's a good point. It's a good point when I specifically like when you said when I have to sidestep distractions. You genuinely, and sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's tough.
Of course it is.
Especially when you know what you have to do as well. It's easy when you don't know what you have to do. It's easy when you are a person that succumbs to the distractions because you don't even know you're fucking up, to be fair.
Yeah.
If you know you're fucking up and you know you have to stay on course, you stay on target and do what you know you have to do. Like, I was at work the other day. Remember I was telling you I was working all these shifts. I did 6 days last week. Which, again, that should be normal. That should genuinely, shouldn't be out of the ordinary for somebody like me. But I was telling somebody at work how many hours I was working. I think I did a 13-hour shift. And he was literally, I would never work that much. I was like, why? And he was like, oh, because I'd be tired, innit? I'm like, you're tired. It's the dumbest reason to miss work. You're tired. You could just be tired at home for free.
You can go home and play PlayStation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's ridiculous. It's genuinely the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, literally, like, the worst reason to miss work is because you don't want to go. It's the dumbest reason ever. If you're not dead, you should be at work.
100%. I completely agree. This is my day off. We're working.
We're literally working. It's my day off too.
Yeah.
We're literally working. Sorry.
No, it
finish
is your turn. No, I did finish. Yeah.
Okay. I put. It was the butler in the study with the lead piping. I was thinking about how much of the format of the story reminds me of.
Someone's got a lead piping.
I was thinking about how much the format of the. Do you know what? It just reminded me. There was a bit. I skipped it just because it was a childish thing to laugh at. But in the first chapter, when William and our narrator, see, I didn't even know his name, meet men from the abbey. Their leader instructs one of them to inform the abbot that Brother William's about to come inside the walls. And I was like, Brother William needs to remember his vows of celibacy, bro. Wait, Brother William's about to do what?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a childish thing to laugh at, but it made me laugh anyways. But I was thinking about
Brother William did that last night.
Twice.
5 seconds in.
I was thinking how much the format of the story reminds me of Sherlock Holmes. I realised it also reminds me of Agatha Christie. Despite all the book's wordiness and holiness, it follows the format of a murder mystery. Our protagonists discover body after body sequentially, apparently murdered in ways that implicate either a number of suspects or none at all, but never one suspect. It's never like, yes, we know it was this person because this happened. It's always this person, or nobody at all. Like when the guy jumped out and it was like, how could he have? Was it shut the window? What?
Yeah.
It's classic Agatha Christie. Even when I forgot his name,
They didn't explain how he got.
They figured. No, it was. He threw himself from somewhere else, and then there was a landslide. That's why they found him where he shouldn't have been. But then it was even like, I can't remember who it was, but someone wrote a note, and it was like, because he's left-handed or something. I was like, that's some classic Agatha Christie shit.
I've never read any Agatha Christie books, so maybe that's something we should put onto our list.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe like her most popular book or something like that.
Interestingly, what you might want to watch, there is a movie series about a character she wrote called Poirot. It's a Belgian detective.
Yeah, I've heard of
movie
it.
series about him on Disney Plus. He just released a new flipping movie. Literally, just new one came out the other day. You know the guy who played
Something we've got to do it now.
100%. You know the guy who played Lockhart from Harry Potter. He plays Poirot, and he was only a joke man in the Harry Potter. You know,
so that means he's good. He's a phenomenal actor.
Oh, very good, very good.
But it is easy to play a fool though. I mean, you do it every day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. There's a quote in here. This is the humor. It's probably not going to be funny now that I'm saying it, but I found it funny at the time. And basically, they said, "Oh, it's fine. We're only human. Humans make mistakes." And then one of them said, "Yeah, but some humans make more mistakes than the average person, and they're called fools."
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, nah, literally, you can't be.
I said there is a scene where William is talking about collecting data and inferring a general law. So he starts going on about animals with horns, and all animals with horns don't have upper teeth in the jaw. Well, my point is that I finally made a deduction about the author. Either he's a genius, or he's an idiot, or he's got some mental health issues, or he's written this while in prison and he's got nothing better to do with his time. The reason
Could
why
be all of the above.
you can't be a genius and an idiot. But yeah, the reason I say all of this is because if he's a genius, then it makes sense for him to know all this stuff about philosophical topics.
Yeah.
For you to waste them on. Let me just say that again. There's a reason I say all of this. Because if he's a genius, then it makes sense for him to know all this philosophical stuff.
Yeah.
To be able to just waste it. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
And to waste them on nonsensical monologues. But even then, if you were a genius and you spent hundreds of hours reading and learning, you as an author would want to discuss the intricate details and philosophical ideas. You wouldn't just drop these ideas in passing dialogue unless you was an idiot and you didn't understand them yourself. And you'd also be an idiot for spending your time creating these masterful scenes with intricate detail. The detail's off the scale. No sensible person would spend their time creating layers and layers of detail for no reason. Not even Game of Thrones was this detailed in their intricate, pointless stories. That was at least character building. Because Game of Thrones, they would have these pointless stories,
and
but it's
throw them away.
Yeah, and throw them away. But if you character building, you get to know the character a bit more. This, on the other hand, is just a waste.
There's not going to be a sequel as well. That's what I'm saying. It's not even set up for a sequel or anything.
Yeah, library gone.
No, we'll let it go anyway. Yeah, nah, it's gone. I put this is one of my last points, but it's a big one. I'm not entirely sure if the story plot of the book, because like we said, there's like two kinds of bits to the book. I'm not sure if the story plot makes much sense. There are things I definitely find clever about it. I think the turnabout way which it subtly mocks religiousness and spirituality, even with the final twist of the plot being the fallacy of the fatal book or the poisoned book or whatever. That's a thing that's commonly used.
What was the book?
It was Aristotle. Aristotle was a comedy that Aristotle wrote, basically, or a sequel to a comedy that he wrote. And basically, Jorge, this is like his name, Jorge, was like, basically, laughter is sinful. I don't want anybody laughing, so we're gonna destroy this, and we're gonna murder like 5 or 6 people.
We're gonna have to read the book as well.
It's ridiculous. I put the deadly book is a trope in some novels whereby a mystical book has powers to bring death to any man who dares to read its contents. In the name of the rose, this mystical book is found to be naught but the result of some chemicals, a metaphor for all apparent mystical phenomena being attributed instead to clever science, which I feel like was the author's point to begin with. Not only this, but it also superimposes the ultra seriousness of the ultra righteous, making plausible the idea that a monk could be so devoted to piety that he finds offense in laughter. He's so offended by laughter, he was like, we are going to murder 5 or 6 people. He's blind.
His brothers.
Do you know how much effort it would take to orchestrate the murder of 5 or 6 people you can't even see?
Well, this is the thing. When you ain't got nothing to do,
literally,
your mind just starts making plans.
It is definitely.
Well, they say idle hands are the devil's playthings.
Yeah, no, that's a very good quote as well. But I said, I wonder if the author purposefully picked a ridiculous motivation for the killer, so as to say, look, everybody, this is what religion gets you. Like, if you remove all your distractions or whatever, you devote yourself to God, you end up doing stupidity.
I don't believe that the author is not religious. You can't know that much about religion.
I personally think maybe the author was.
How long do you think it took him to write that book?
Who knows? You
can't be writing something like that
this guy
and devoting all your time to something that's religious based if you're not religious.
Do you know what's funny? There are people that know an incredible amount of religion are atheists. They know an incredible amount.
That's good.
Philosophers. It means they know it means they made an informed decision at least. Yeah. Which is more than most of us do. Yeah. They've at least made an informed decision, which is more dedication.
Yeah, but wouldn't you? It's hard, but you might say the more you read, less likely you're gonna be religious.
Maybe, depends. Because some people convert.
People convert, but the whole point of religion is faith. Yeah, faith means you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. The more you understand is the more you're kind of defeating the purpose of what religion's about. The more you try to understand the mystery, not supposed to understand, supposed to believe. But where did I put it? The reason I thought that was his point, because it wouldn't be the first time such a strategy were used. King Charles II, for example, was a hugely popular English monarch following the reign of Puritan Oliver Cromwell, because he came in and he was like, everybody party. So he said, everybody start, go, party, drink, fuck bitches, do what you want. Whereas Oliver Cromwell didn't let anyone do anything. He catch you laughing like that guy. We're laughing about. Yeah, literally. So it wouldn't be the first time that people use like hatred of religion as like a popularity sort of thing.
And another thing I didn't understand is why they kept going on about poverty, loving poverty.
Because, like, first of all, Jesus was broke, and that's like
he owned nothing. They had a big discussion.
There was having to like, did he own the clothes he was wearing or whatever?
But why? So Jesus didn't have anything, right? So what?
They want to live life like Jesus lived, didn't it? They want to live life in His image because He was, the Word. He was the Word, the truth, the light.
You want to live life like Jesus, yeah? He didn't have a good end, yeah? So, I don't know about living life like him.
He either had a very bad end or a very good end, depending on what you believe. But,
Done?
Yeah, go on.
30 chapters in, and I'm finally... And... I don't even know what I'm saying here. This is just normal, I'm finally talking about... Okay, I get it. I did make sense. I just didn't understand my point. 30 chapters in, and I'm finally talking about the actual storyline, because I haven't made not a single point about the storyline.
You haven't, to be fair.
I don't think we care about the plot, and I think the author has made sure we don't care about the plot. There's no character building in the monks. It's like he thought, what are the most robotic, lifeless, uniformed characters that I could use to mould my philosophical drivel around? A mosque? Nah. A church? Nah. Still not boring enough. Monks! So there's no character development because they're all disposable. I couldn't tell you this monk from that monk, the priest, and the Abba are the actual only ones that I know in the whole monastery. At what point were we more worried for the main character's safety? If not, not so we care if any. Yeah, so we don't even care if any monks kick the bucket. This is why I say the author doesn't even care about the storyline himself. You know, there was a part where I think it was like the monks dropping like flies, right? I don't know if it was Malachi and then this one or whatever, right? And then I think it was William said, "Oh, be careful! Don't check what you eat. Only eat from this. You know, we could be next sort of thing." And we're just like, "Well, this isn't that."
No one cares.
Not only does no one care, but this is not that type of story. They're not going to kill off the main characters. Like there was no. I mean, there was a stealth mission, but
yeah, you finally got your stealth.
We got the stealth mission, but there was no. There was no emotional investment. I could not give a single fuck if any of them died.
Legit.
I didn't even worry about that.
I didn't even know the main character's name.
Yeah.
40
so
chapters
you know,
it's ridiculous. If he died, I'd be like, who died?
Chapter 34. I swear to God, they spent half the bloody book in the library. There better be a good explanation, because there wasn't.
Yeah, no, there wasn't.
Because there wasn't.
No,
you know,
ran away with it head, so they literally just.
Or is this more of the writer's pointless flouting of skill? Why is there 10 pages of Atul reading about symptoms of love in the book in the library? By no means am I finding this book a chore to read. It's interesting, complex, and very detailed, but why has the author gone to so much trouble? Is the answer simply why not?
Yeah.
Surely only a madman.
That's not a good reason. Come on.
Surely only a madman acts on this line of reasoning.
Yeah, no, it can't be why not. Because like you said, remember when he started dropping things like, the female's a vessel of the devil, and then we're just moving on, and I was like, bro, you spent 3 or 4 fucking pages on the church describing the church, and it's like you're focusing on all the wrong things. It's ridiculous. It can't be why not.
And then we didn't even get closure about his girl.
But he didn't get closure about his girl. What do you mean we? He didn't know her name. They couldn't even converse. They literally couldn't.
They didn't share a sentence.
They didn't share a sentence. They shared something.
he got what he wanted, but we don't know what happened with her.
We have no. I assume she was burned at the stake. Being a witch.
Rightly so.
Yeah, literally. There's witchcraft to spread the kingdom of God. Don't have That's what they was doing. They was literally just saying random things and then follow up with Latin. I put. This is one of my favorite points. To be fair, finally the author illuminates. Oh wait. So this goes back to what I was even saying about the author kind of mocking religiousness and like how serious Puritans take themselves, where in reality they're doing the same things as us. The author illuminates the reality that for all the piety of the monks in the abbey, half of them are either gay, sin, major sin, or breaking their vows of celibacy with harlots, also major sin.
And even, sorry to cut you because I'm going to forget.
Yeah.
When, was it Atso?
Yeah.
Fucked the girl. And he felt bad about it and whatever. And he went and confessed. And basically the priest said, mate, if it was me, I'd have done the same thing. He basically said, but he made a good point. He said, it's in some ways, it was God's will, is what he said, because it's also important for monks
to sin, basically.
Well,
and confess.
No, what he's saying is that you can understand the difficulties of what you've gone through, so that when you're consoling other brothers who are going to do the same thing, other people's going to happen, you can understand, you can be lenient, because obviously someone who's actually, been celibate or whatever, they might not be merciful on
if they can't understand what it's like to sin. They just say, it's weakness.
Literally. So you can basically be merciful.
They did say Jesus. What did Jesus ate with strippers and whatever, and sat with strippers and harlots or criminals of all kinds. I don't know what they said about him. I put half of them are either gay, which is a major sin, or breaking their vows of celibacy with women, also a major sin. Showing once and for all that we are united in our verity, in that we choose to live different lives, but we are varied in our unity, in that we take different paths to basically end up doing the same things. Jorge becoming a murderer and serving his own ends through his love of Jesus, which is like, you've basically become everything you hope to destroy. Or Adso being a devout monk and fucking some girl whose name he didn't even know and couldn't even converse. That's pretty much the most sinful form of intercourse. Like, it can't get worse than that for a monk. You don't know her name.
It can.
You didn't exchange a single word.
It was consensual.
Hey, listen. Yeah, no.
You can.
I feel like the writer's message is that one way or another, by hook or by crook, the nature of the human animal is to do what brings us pleasure. Ironically, this is also God's message. Only God implores us to defy this nature in his name, which is devotion, whilst the devil says, do it. Yeah,
We don't always do things that find us pleasure.
We don't, but that's what
Sometimes
it's in our nature to do. It's our nature
In
to want to
some
do.
ways, you know, when we... So we... What's the word I'm looking for? Revenge.
Yeah.
When we get revenge on people, so like, you know, someone hits you hit them back, it doesn't, or when we envy, it doesn't always bring us joy to do those things. It can make us feel worse. It's when sometimes we forgive people, that's what will make you feel better. It'll make you feel good. And then obviously addiction, when you get addicted to things, it doesn't usually make you feel...
I don't necessarily mean what's going to make us feel good. I mean what we want to do in a moment, what we feel like we want to do in a moment. Like, for example, like some people, you know, pleasure themselves and then feel bad immediately after. Like, immediately after, they feel shame.
You're speaking from experience.
I had a friend. Nah, some people...
So why did that one come to your
shame
mind?
immediately after, innit?
What, did someone tell you this?
Yeah, someone confessed to me and I said, mate, I done the same thing. In the booth of the confessional.
No, I have heard of that though. They feel dirty or something
Yeah,
like
they
that.
just feel shame after. And it's like, what am I doing? He's looking around like, jeez.
Busting nuts.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But so it's not seeking pleasure doesn't always seek. Well, look, we're talking about what you're talking about is seeking pleasure or seeking what we want to do in the long run. You're talking about what's going to be good for us in the long run. There you go. It's exactly the term I was thinking of. But yeah, no, honestly, it's seeking pleasure in the short term. It's not always about what's going to be good for us in the long run. It's about what we want to do now. I think that might be my last point.
That's fine. I've got a few more. Okay. One of them. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is one of my favourite ones as well. One of the monks noticed Atso.
Yeah. He keeps saying Atso.
Yeah, because I've written down Atso. I thought his name's Atso.
Oh.
Atso, looking at his girl in desperation, where he slyly hints that she isn't a witch and that she's just a girl. Atso tried to like... He didn't really, but he was like, oh, we don't know if she is a witch. That's what he
He
basically
tried to stick up for her. Harlot.
The response that he got was, if you are looking at her and you are intrigued by beauty, then she has put a spell on you. But, right, it gets deep. Beauty stops at the skin. This is what he says. Beneath the skin, there are multiple sacs of filth. Sacs of mucus, bile in the stomach, blood and dung. If you are disgusted by the thought of touching any of those things, how can you possibly have any desire to embrace the sack which contains all that? And it's genius, he's right.
Yeah, can't do that.
You might say, but isn't that the same for men then? Don't men put spells on women because women want men and we're all sacks of disgusting shit, right?
Basically.
But it's different. The reason why I'd say it's different is because men are visual creatures. That's the difference. Men fall in love with what they see, whereas women fall in love with what they hear. So, you know, we're all disgusting sacks of mucus.
Speak for yourself, mate. We're all.
But,
no, in all seriousness,
you know, but there's something inside of us that drives us to be attracted to somebody. I don't know. Beauty stops at the skin.
Deep. Skin deep. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But
It's when people word things in such a way that you can't even really disagree. Like, you can't really disagree with that, to be fair. So if you can't embrace what's underneath, then how can you embrace, like, she's put a spell at you, she's a witch. Burn her. You can't understand. You can't argue. That's a trial. Bang the gavel, literally. Sentence has been passed. She must be a witch.
I finally found an error, chapter 40, something that the writer has overlooked. More should have been done in terms of Atso's girl. Emotions were invoked inside of me when we realised she's being accused of being a witch. We could have had more emphasis on that storyline. Atso could have tried to beg for her life, pulled at our heartstrings or something. This book isn't lacking many things, but feeling and emotion are two of them. They even had the stealth. They even basically had a stealth mission.
Yeah, nah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, maybe the writer was like, there was no space. There was literally no space. But that was like an easy win to me. It was an easy win. Get some feeling in there. Why didn't you do it?
Literally, it was there for the taking. There for the taking. Maybe it was just the writer didn't want Atzer to be that kind of character. It was just like maybe his moment of weakness was a moment of weakness. Even though like afterwards he was even though afterwards he even tried to stick up for a little bit. Like when you said don't know, he's the witch. Like me personally, I would have been like, stick it up for your harlot straight away. Because remember what they was talking about? There was like at these trials.
No one knew.
No, I know, but there was like at these trials where there was like you have to watch what you say in case somebody's like, so why are you sticking up for the infidels? You're a child.
You go.
Remember even Umberto was like, brother, I had some things to say, but I was like, let me keep quiet.
I've literally got 2 points left, so I'll just say then. Religious people always say that God's plan. They always say, oh, that's God's plan. But God doesn't have a plan, as William said. There's no order to the universe, otherwise we wouldn't have free will. So, religious people need to make up their mind.
Well,
is it God's plan or do we have free will?
That goes back to what I was saying about what alienates a lot of people from religion. It's religious people pretending that they know what they're talking about, which you have to admit you don't, because like I said, the point of it isn't to know. The point is to have faith. What a lot of people like to do, not only that to pretend they know, they like to try and teach you as well what they don't know. And it's just like, it's of course that's going to alienate people, because it's just, that's why it's called a holier than thou attitude. Because it's like people talking about, oh, it was God's plan for me to be in that car crash and end up a human vegetable. Like, do I want to hear that? No, I don't want to hear that.
Of course not. Yeah. It's crazy to think that back in the day, they literally had no way to stop a fire.
Yeah.
They didn't have taps where they could get unlimited supply of water. They literally just had to watch the fire spread.
You know what's funny? What's his name? William was like, stop the fire. Man went, ow. I was laughing. He ran to the man and he was like, ow.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we all know about the Great Fire of London and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right? Which actually turned out to be a good thing, and I'll explain why after. But
it's part of God's plan.
That's a good one. But fires were a problem.
Wow. Fires are a problem.
And also, it's a good thing that only the librarian was allowed in the library, because I feel like if everyone had unrestricted access, the fire would have broke out
way sooner,
innit?
100%. Because more people means more stupid people, which means basically more accidents.
So with the Fire of London, the reason why they say it's a good thing is because we don't know this 100%, but the Black Plague ended around the months of...
of course,
so
because the only way to purge chemicals is to purge them by means of fire.
But do you know how the Black Death started?
Well, they say it was rats. I assume it's not going to be rats.
No, it is. But do you know how... So, in the UK, from all of human history, we've hated witches. We've burned women, thousands of women for being witches.
Right, yeah.
So what they did as well, they started killing
the cats.
Yeah,
the cats.
They started killing all the cats that they could find.
The black cats.
Yeah, all the cats. They'd killed every cat left, right, and centre with it. So it's interesting how they killed all the cats. The rats multiplied, brought diseases, and got them back. It's like the nature restored itself,
literally,
which is interesting because people and also that actually concludes the debate of cats versus dogs. Cats win because
cats have been winning.
Because no, come on now. We know how people are.
I know how people are, but that doesn't necessarily mean that cats haven't been. Yeah, exactly. People can be wrong.
Dogs are the number one pets. There's no dispute.
Dogs are the number one pets in terms of what people want.
Yeah,
how people feel. But now we're going on off emotions versus. Look, I could make a genuine, realistic argument that's not based on feelings for why dogs are better. I can make an argument for either side.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, me personally.
Yeah,
cats.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I think it's no longer debatable. If we clicked our fingers and got rid of every single dog,
exactly what I said,
it would not make a single blind bit of difference. I mean, maybe the suicide rate would go up.
In fact, I wasn't even talking about that. I said this to somebody. I literally said, if we woke up tomorrow morning, there was no dogs, we'd be fine. I literally said, there's a very small minority of people will be affected. People with seeing eye dogs, for example. Like those.
We don't trust blind people anyway. I mean.
Did we not see?
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. But on a scale of 8 billion, let's condense it. 8 million people in London, let's say, could write off that number of people who would be affected by the dogs disappearing.
I mean, not really affected. I mean, emotionally they would be affected, but not.
But I'm saying you could write off the number. The number of people would be affected. You could write that off in the grand scheme of the 8 million people that we're talking about.
Do you think there's 1 million dogs?
I don't know. But you have to remember, some people have more than one dog in it. We're not talking one dog to a household.
But yeah, if you cats disappeared, it'd be a big problem.
Huge problem. Literally, we're talking Black Plague level.
Yeah.
Because like people aren't, not people are cleaner than they were back then, but they're not much cleaner. They're not relatively cleaner given the amount of time. That goes back to what I was saying with humans are sacks of shit and dung and whatever. You know, we are so sheltered in this day and age. Like, we look at women and whatever, and we're attracted to them, and, you know, how about a woman who hasn't washed for a week? You know, back in the day, people would have annual baths. Yeah, no, that's
annual
crazy.
baths, and
Crazy
children
birthday.
were being made left,
Birthday.
right, and centre.
Yeah, birthday.
So we would, a woman who ain't showered in a day, we're
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
we're like, ugh. Back in the day, they're like, that's a clean woman.
Literally, it's a clean woman. Honestly,
Do you know what I mean?
ridiculous.
So we're sheltered. But yes, we're finished. What do you think of the book then?
We didn't even talk about that end scene. My man was eating the fucking book like a crackhead. Like, I didn't understand. That just came out of nowhere. He literally just said, "Guess what? No one's gonna read this." Just like eating the cyanide.
So what did
book
you do
just
that
for
from
no
the beginning?
reason. Exactly. I was like, you murdered all these people for what? Only to eat the book and die. And burn the rest of the
he got
books.
found out, so he thought, well,
And
I'm not
burn
going
the
to
rest of the
prison.
books as well. But
I don't think he planned to burn all the books.
Remember what they said about William, like his fatal flaw being pride, and he started bragging, started showing off, and the man got robbed by a blind man. Don't know how you let that happen if you're so smart. You
No,
got
but
robbed
the
by a
man
blind
gave
person.
him the book, and then he gave the book back. That's what happened.
Yeah, he still got robbed. Yeah, nah, he still got robbed.
It was a weird ending.
It was a very weird ending. It felt like you said, Rat wasn't very interested in the story plot.
So you thought, let's wrap this up now. I've said all the philosophical points I need.
He
Let's
said,
wrap up.
my point's been made.
Let's burn it. Just
He literally said, burn everything. Just to show how pointless the story plot was from the beginning. Burn everything. Kill everyone. And that's it. The end. And then, what's his name dies as well. And suffocated in that fucking whatever. But,
Who was suffocated?
what's his name? In a passageway. There was something about Atto was like dying, suffocating in a... I don't even know.
No, Atso didn't die.
Who was it suffocating in a passageway? It was someone suffocating in a... I don't know. who it was.
Somebody irrelevant.
Somebody irrelevant. Everybody was irrelevant, to be fair.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10...
I don't think realistically you can go higher than 8 for this book. Although 8's a very good score. And I feel like I say 8 too much. Maybe I've said
This
8
is
too
why
many
I don't...
times.
Every book is 8. What was Percy Jackson?
I don't remember. I don't remember what any... I only remember... No, I don't remember any rating. I'll have to go back and watch them. But...
You're going to have to go back and read them.
Yeah,
Alright,
literally.
what was the Hunger Games?
Oh, what? The Ballad of what?
Yeah, what was that?
I would have said that was I think I said that was a 7. I think I said 7 for that. Actually, no,
So
I
this
think I
is
said
only
6.
one-
I think I said 6.
You said Percy Jackson was 6.
I don't remember. But I think I remember saying the Ballad of whatever was 6.
Nah, it was better than that.
No,
It wasn't better. It was better than that. But anyway, I know.
Yeah. I really
So you don't think it's possible to go higher than an 8?
Yeah, because there was too many triggering things about this book where I was literally just like, it could have been better, and it could have been a more enjoyable experience.
I think, do
to
you
read it.
know what? By next week, we're going to have an actual system of rating these books. We're going to go
Literally.
storyline, we're going to go emotion, we're going to go technique.
We're gonna go stealth mission as well, whether or not I had a stealth
Yeah,
mission.
we're going to go
check the
technique,
box.
so at least we can give these a proper rating, because, you know, this is technically off the scale, you know, it's much, I mean, to call this an 8 and then call Hunger Games a 7 or whatever, it's an injustice, because
Gross injustice.
they're so far apart.
Really, 10 is not a big enough scale. Really. It's not a big enough scale. It's a very flawed scale to rate anything, to be
I
fair.
think the whole rating system's flawed. I hate it, but it's what we do. So, could you recommend this book?
I don't think there's anybody I know in person
any
in
business
life.
reading
I don't think any business reading this book. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Not because it's bad though. I just wouldn't recommend it because of the style in which it's written. You're just not gonna
You
like
have to
it.
take a week off work.
Remember what we said? If we was not doing it for this, we would have given up long ago with that book. I would
But
not
I'm glad
have
I
finished
didn't.
that.
But I'm glad I
Jesus.
didn't.
I'm glad I didn't as well. But you're not gonna get to the point like. You're gonna have to devote literally.
It took us 2
man
weeks.
hours.
Look, we've been
hours.
doing this for probably couldn't be 2 months now, could it?
No. It normally it's a week.
No. How
the whole
long?
thing.
How long have we been doing these? About 2 months.
About 2 months, yeah.
And we've been every week. We start book Monday, we finish it by Friday. We do the podcast on Saturday
Sunday,
or Sunday. Last week it got to Friday. Was it Friday? Was it Thursday?
Nah, it was Thursday.
I think
it was
it's Thursday.
Friday morning. It was literally Friday morning.
Yeah, I messaged him. I said, "Listen, I ain't gonna make it. There's no way I'm gonna."
Like,
I said because I listen to the audiobooks and I know, you know, speed wise, I should be able to beat him. And if I'm struggling, I said, "It's not a hope in hell if you finish." There's not a hope
when he
in
said that
hell.
to me, I was about to say the same thing. Glad you said that because he was taking the absolute piss. I'm on a prologue.
Yeah, it's converted him to audiobooks.
Still in the
now.
chapter. Nah, for this one I had to because I was like, "There's zero chance I'm gonna finish this on time. Zero chance."
So when did you finish it then?
I finished it and then I had to go back because there was a part I skipped, so I had to go back to it because
Why?
Because when this is the problem when you're reading the physical book, there was
Did
the
the chapters
PDF I
match
had.
up?
No, the PDF I had because I'm not gonna lie, it was criminal. I was reading a PDF that I just found online and it had a chunk of it just missing just for that reason. So this is the danger of reading the non-official stuff. If that makes sense. And it was actually by accident that I noticed there was a chunk of it was missing, in fact. So I went back and matched it up with the audio. Had to re-listen to some bits that I'd already heard.
Yeah.
So technically I finished it like a day ago, but I really finished it this morning.
So, okay. Let's put it in the rankings in the book that we've read. Alice Network is first.
Yeah, Alice Network's first. I would put
This has got to be second, isn't it?
I'd put Fourth Wing second. No, I'm joking. I hate Fourth Wing.
I like Fourth Wing. I forgot about that. I like Fourth Wing.
I would put What Lies Between Us probably second.
And it's third. It's because it's like, do you know what? It's hard. It's hard because there's so much work. You have to. I feel like it's criminal to not respect the amount of work that's gone into it.
Yeah, nah, it is.
But that's cheating to put it up higher because
Yeah, that's a participation trophy. Where it's like you've worked hard instead of working smart.
no, but it's
I believe
but it was
rewarding
smart.
working smart.
But
Okay, let's agree to put it second. I'm happy with putting it second. I'm happy to do that. I'll bring out the official ranking and put it on the screen. Bow. So you can see where they I'm happy to put it second. I think it was good. It was good.
It was a good book.
It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. It's not to say like I said, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
I wouldn't read it again.
Well, we're gonna have to watch the movie now and listen to them
Yeah,
doing the Latin again. But and then the TV miniseries. Apparently, there's a TV miniseries about it.
But yeah, we've taken up enough of your time. So thank you very much. Until next time, I don't really want to do Agatha Christie next. I want something light.
Yeah,
I don't even mean light.
said,
I don't even mean light in volume. I don't even mean that. I mean light in terms of easy listening.
Yeah, that you don't.
Maybe
have
a
to,
romance.
Hey, well, listen. All we know is you're not picking it. Because you picked this one. It took 2 weeks.
Something
of my life.
like I just, as long as it's not no murder mystery. I dislike murder mysteries. I hate do you know what? I hate crime books. That's what I hate. Crime books. I just don't like them. It's just.
That's funny though, because you like crime TV shows like Narcos, for example. You used to love that, but it's not like the same thing.
Yeah, Narcos is quite good though. To be fair,
not the same kind of crime we're talking about. To be fair,
yeah.
Like I said, it's the format of the murder mystery that I feel like you
in
dislike.
Narcos there's stealth missions.
Was like. So essentially, you want a stealth book. That's what you're trying to oppress. But yeah, no. Yeah, we'll have one.
Yeah. Till next time.